sont dit partout.
What's going on there, Jerk Faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's a weekly live stream where we talk about news, current events, as well as our movie review. Tonight we'll be reviewing, to continue our Fish Out of Water theme this month. We'll be reviewing The Great Wall from 2017, starring Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal. With me, as ever, is the homeboy Rob.
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, that's going to be to talk about. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as was I, because even though I didn't watch it,
And
I didn't watch it at the time. So yeah, so I mean, as we revealed, if you caught last week's stream, we revealed that other than Rush Hour, all the other movies this month we have not seen prior to reviewing them.
Yeah, it's all the first. All three of the other films are first time watches for all of us, for the both of us. So that's kind of cool.
We're coming in fresh to this one.
And yeah, and I remember when this trailer popped up. I think it had to be during like one of the Marvel films. I think one of the Avengers films or something. But yeah, this was just like I saw the trailer. I was like, that looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't watch it, but
or
I actually really ended up liking it. So we'll talk about it.
Or I saw the trailers and I was just like, I was completely disinterested from this movie. And then
everything there, like the trailer, nothing designed.
Yeah. So I didn't even care to watch this movie. But then, it got mired in some controversy. But yeah, we'll get into that, later down the line.
Yeah. But I just want to say, like, I'm enjoying it. I'm going to look forward to talking to you about the film. And yeah, we got a lot of interesting topics today.
Indeed, we do.
So that'll be fun.
But yeah, let's play a little catch up. So how was your weekend, Rob?
Been pretty good, actually. We released, speaking of Fish Out of Water Month, on San Amigos, we released our episode on the 13th Warrior. So that was pretty fun to talk about that film. We, other than that, it's been just been watching some movies. I am working on some reviews that are coming up, and I also started to watch that new show that popped up on FX called The Shogun. I just started the first episode, so I haven't really dived into it too hard just yet. But I'm liking it so far, and me, I love Japanese cinema and stuff like that. So this is right up my alley.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Yeah, I would say, like, because I'm still in the first episode. To be honest, I was really tired yesterday, so I was not able to finish the first episode. But damn, it's really good so far. Also got to introduce some people to the Sword of Doom, so that was really cool. And that's a movie that you've talked about, and I think I liked it a little bit more than you. But coming back to it, I definitely see the things that you were saying about it. That it's like it's not quite a complete movie, but I learned more about the movie looking at watching it again. I'm like, okay, I see. Like, Andy is right that it's not a complete movie, but I now understand more of why it's not a complete movie. So there's so it's just it's a little bit of both worlds. But the people I introduced it to actually really loved it, and the action scenes are still fucking amazing in that
So
film.
you're saying I was right.
I am saying you were right. I was a little high on it. I would say I've come down on as far as my rating goes, but those action scenes are still out of this fucking world. They're amazing. That scene, like where Toshiro Mifune blows out of that.
I did not take onus, or I did not take umbrage with the fight scenes. I agree with you. The fight scenes were great, particularly that one
the action scenes I come to over and over again.
One kind of tracking shot, as he was like slicing through all those guys. That was a beautiful shot. I completely admit that.
Oh yeah, it was. That scene, like where Toshiro Mifune rips out of the palanquin and just proceeds to fuck everybody up. It's so cool. You got the snowfall, the guy's arms like ripping off, and like blood everywhere. It's amazing. It's great. Or that scene like where
I was specifically
after Tatsuya Nakadai.
I was specifically referencing not the one in like the courtyard looking area, more like in like the forest.
Oh, that first fight scene that we really get after Tatsuya Nakadai kills his partner that he's dueling with.
Like a tracking shot,
where he fucks up everybody in the
Toshiro
forest.
Mifune's characters like just rip it. Yeah.
We were talking about how it's like there's a lot of I think the Park Chan-wook probably took some inspiration off of that for Old Boy, because there's a little bit of a similarity to that.
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking of that scene.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right.
I was just thinking about that scene.
Yeah. That's a great scene. And then even like the ending battle is still like just where he just fucks everybody up in that, like with the ending with like kind of the Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid ending of that film is still really cool. But yeah, I know I really enjoyed watching that again and introducing it to some people. We had a good time talking about it, and we got a chance to talk a little bit about the history behind it and that era of Japanese culture, the transition from the Tokugawa shogunate to the Meiji era, and how like there was a lot of tension and a lot of death and a lot of craziness that was happening back then. So we had a good old time doing that. Other than that, not too much. Just kind of just working a lot as always. And I've been playing a little bit of. Or I've been trying to finish up my playthrough of Hogwarts Legacy, the PS5 game. Just been enjoying that. Diving into the world of Harry Potter, which has been a lot of fun. But yeah, been a pretty simple weekend for me. Just watching movies. I did watch some Jackie Chan films, some of his lesser films, but I still enjoy them to a certain degree. I watched the Tuxedo and the Medallion. The Medallion is not a good movie, but it's still fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even
have you seen any of those
mediocre Jackie Chan movies, you can always say like they're at least fun. Like yeah, they might not have been like the greatest story or
they're fun. Like I said, they're action comedies. They're fun. Like, and because he is a fan of Buster Keaton, so there is that comedy that he brings to a lot of his roles. They're not like super serious, and if you kind of go into it with that mindset, you can have fun because you're not trying to take it too seriously.
All right, it's just it's spectacle.
So, are they good films? Maybe not. Yeah, it's a spectacle. Are they great films? No, probably not. But are you going to enjoy yourself? Absolutely.
Indeed.
How about you, my friend? What have you been up to?
Just becoming an old man. What is it? As some of you may know, I'm still suffering. Well, I'm not suffering, but I had a bout of Achilles tendonitis, which then led to a Haglund deformity, which the colloquial term for that is pump bump. Basically, when your shoes don't fit right, and then they rub apart, on the back of your heel, and it causes a swelling of what is it, like the pads in between your joints in your foot, and so yeah, I've been dealing with that,
Ouch.
and so but today I finally went to the doctor to go, kind of get it looked at, and I did, and I got an X-ray. And it turns out I do have a heel spur, a slight one. Yeah.
That sucks.
So as it's just a slow, I'm in the slow process of slowly cellular degradation, essentially. Otherwise.
So what you're telling me is that you are 90 years old. So what I'm hearing you say is that you're 90 years old.
Essentially,
Got it.
But yeah, it's it's the what is it? It's like the slow wearing out process, essentially. Of course,
Well, I just had a bout of gout.
Oh, thank God I don't have that. Then I wouldn't be able to eat meat. Because my cousin, he has gout. Yeah, and he's much older. He's older than I am.
Your cousin?
But yeah, he so he can't enjoy certain meat products anymore. So.
Jesus, that fucking sucks.
But yeah, it's a what is it? The heel spur is just it's a calcification of a part like where your plantar fascia attaches to your heel.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's where you're having trouble.
And essentially, it's a slight one, so there's no need to like try to rectify it, surgically. But yeah, I just have to do some stretching, and I have to keep off it, and not overexert myself.
Okay, I mean that's like what is it? Is there anything specifically that caused it, or is it just
overuse, basically?
Overuse. Like what happened?
For those of you who don't know, I know you can't see the rest of my body, but I'm somewhat of an avid runner, and so yeah, I guess I overused that muscle, and so now it's inflamed, and got the itis, but
so you're gonna have to like find a new way to work out for a little bit while that's healing up, huh?
I probably have to get a heel cup for more support. At least for the time being, until it heals up.
Yeah.
So
you should get like a rowing machine for now. Get that, keep the cardio up, but like you're kind of, but you're not using the same like muscles.
Yeah, man, I don't know why. I don't know why this all happened like in my 40th year.
That's right. It's that. Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, you're gonna be 40 this year. Holy shit.
I know. It may not look
We've known each other. We've known each other for a long time now. Actually, now that I think about it.
What, like
Well, we're going on
Yeah,
8
like
years?
better part of a decade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We've been friends. That's crazy.
Oh.
And it's funny, the friends that I was friends with that I met you through, I talked to you way more than I talked
I
to the
know.
rest of them.
It's so weird,
We at least talk once a week,
right? I
if
mean,
not
yeah, like
more. So
if
that's
anything,
crazy to
like
me.
because of
Man,
this,
my God.
we by default talk more.
Yeah. We're gonna have to do something like special for your 40th this year. We'll have to do something like I might forego doing something for my birthday so we can do something
Oh.
together.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, we got a few months
Yeah.
to worry about that.
Oh shoot!
We'll
Yeah,
give
it's like
give a salute over to our boy Charlton Heston as well.
yeah, it says 7 months away. 7 months away. No.
And I think it'll be the 20th anniversary of Charlton Heston's death as well,
Yeah,
in 2004.
indeed.
I think.
Yeah, if you have 2004, then yeah, and it's gonna be 2024. Yeah, that's 20 years.
That is how
That's
math
how
works.
math works. I may not be a math Asian, but I know that's how that works.
Oh no, never mind. It's 16 years since he died in 2008. Actually, never mind. I apologize. So we have a few more years before his 20th anniversary of his passing, but we'll still celebrate him anyways.
Indeed.
But yeah. Anything else other than like your body breaking down that we need to talk?
No, I guess. No, I mean nothing else really. I mean, work is work. Still kind of feeling the effects of the winter months, so it's still pretty slow. Although the saving grace has been the service side of the business. So people still needing their bikes fixed, but not too many people want to buy bikes. But also I recognize that e-bikes are still a bit of a luxury item.
A new fad.
Well, not a fad,
Yeah.
but just they're a luxury item still because you don't necessarily need an electric bicycle. It's just it'd be nice to have. It'd be
No.
nice to have, but yeah, it's not an essential. Although they are super fun.
Yeah, I've heard that they're very fun. What if I was gonna buy an electric bicycle, like, a base level one? What am I looking to be spending?
Like if you're looking for like a no frills kind of weekend and commuter kind of thing, then $1,000
Yeah,
is where you're looking to spend.
and like what's like? Yeah, well, it's like so about $1,000 for the base level. What's like your high end? Like, what do you like? All the frills, all the bells and whistles.
Well, I mean, it's
What would
not
I be
exactly.
spending?
Well, it depends because what is it? In terms of like for like specifically like mountain biking, our top of the line would probably be um, like MSRP is like $5,000.
Okay, what about
For
like a
a road
road
bike.
bike?
Yeah, you're probably just like kind of like cruising and commuting. You're probably looking within like 14 to $1,700 range.
Okay, but it's the mountain bike version that is,
Yeah.
of
Although,
course, more expensive because of the.
well, I mean, because one of the bikes, it's called the Bulls bike. It's out of Germany, and it's what I like to call a meat and potatoes bike, um, in that it's
Mhm.
it's powerful, but it has no frills. So and it's because there's different classes of e-bikes, and the one that I'm particularly talking about, the one that with the MSRP of 5 grand, it's capped out at 20 miles an hour and no throttle. So like yeah, it'll have
I
the
see.
pedal
Okay.
assist. So you're not completely working on you're not completely butt naked. Uh, but yeah, it's primarily
Yeah.
for hitting the trails, bombing down hills and things like that. Um, but in my opinion, it's worth every penny.
Okay. All right.
But yeah,
Sounds good.
another well for like the kind of like
I was just curious because I was thinking of like because I've heard good things about because I was just kind of curious as to, like what people are spending, and I can see like where yeah it is a luxury item, but I was just curious of what the
yeah.
price
Well, I mean,
was.
there's a bunch of bikes you can get for like cheaper, and they'll do for whatever the average person is gonna do. Just kind of like going from here to there. Maybe commuting, maybe popping into the grocery store, what have you. Sure, it'll be fine. You can go to Best Buy. You can go to Costco. You can buy one off of Amazon. Sure, go ahead, and you'll be fine. But where specifically my shop that I work at, or I really volunteer at, I barely make anything. But what is it? What makes the shop that I work at special is that we do service, so we do repairs. So all these other bike shops will be able to sell you the bike, but they won't be able to fix it.
Right. But if let's say somebody bought some from one of those other places, would your store
Yeah,
fix them?
yeah. You can bring the bike in and we'll fix it.
So you do both
Yeah,
selling
yeah, yeah.
and repair.
We do retail and service. Yeah, it's just yeah. So right
Sweet,
now the
that's cool.
retail side is suffering, but the service side is maintaining or stable.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and of course, I have my various volunteer work that I do. We just my church recently had our homeless outreach breaking bread. Um, the place that we go to, like, there's this big lot, and it recently got cleared out. And a lot of the people that were there, we don't know what happened to them. Um, from what we hear, from some of the residents in the area, is that the owner of the lot, had to have them uh, vacate the premises, is because late at night, when it gets cold, they'll start fires. Um, but that's against regulation, and so but they're not going to be
Right,
what is it, holding the individuals responsible. They're going to be holding the property owner responsible, and so
responsible.
yeah,
Yeah.
when they do, so he gets the fines for their fires, and so so yeah, so I guess so the property owner asked them
I
asked them
don't
to
blame
yeah
him.
asked them to go somewhere else, and
Which is kind of
yeah,
crazy, to be honest, if you think about it.
yeah, I mean, it's really
But
messed up
what
because
it's
like there's already laws on the books to hold the individual, like, the individual homeless person accountable, but for some reason, it's being
Right.
dumped on the property owner.
It's because they want that money and they know they're not going to be able to extract it from any sort of
Exactly.
homeless person. So they're gonna attack the person that does have
Hmm.
assets.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Instead of just like maybe we should look at well, it seems cruel looking at like maybe we shouldn't just let people live on the streets in a parking lot. Maybe we should do something about that. But that's so mean. We can't do that. But we also have laws that doesn't allow them to do these things. So, uh, yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's dumb.
It's an open attack, on the most productive people in our society. Property owners, business owners. It's killing the middle class.
Yeah,
It's
and like I
killing the
said,
middle class.
yeah, it's not because it's and like I said, I don't hate homeless people. It's not like that's not what I'm getting at. But at the same time, it's not. We talked about this countless times. It's not good for them to just be living out in the streets. It's not good for them. It's not good for the the people that live around that area, and it's it's not a good look for the
No.
city as well. You're not taking care of a situation that could easily be taken care of. And when it comes to like now, but the homeless people, they're not responsible for what they do. No, we'll charge the person that like owns the property. And if they're not on public property, because the city's not going to do anything if it's public property, but they are going to attack if they happen to be camping on private property without the owner's permission. Well, yeah, it's not the homeless person's fault. It's the person who owns that property. They're going to get the fines. I'm like, I don't know that these people are there. Like, and I have no legal way to move these people away. What do you want me to do? And you're going to fuck me that way? Like, you're going to fuck me in I have this property and you're not going to take care of this issue. You're not going to enforce the law, and you're going to fuck me by like charging me fines that of illegal activity that these guys do. Are you kidding me? That's like, it's crazy. That is just ludicrous, and at the same time, like I do feel bad for these people because there's this is a there's a series of things that can be done to help fix the situation, and the people who have the power to do something aren't doing anything.
No. Yeah. Or they, farm it out to NGOs or whatever. And
Yeah, so yeah, it's like the you were saying like the skate land
mhm.
like by your work. It's like are they setting fires in there? Like is is there some sort of are they being fined for like whatever crazy ass activities going on in there? Probably.
No, but
I doubt it.
yeah, but yeah, that shelter. It's. I just had the euphemism, that place has problems too. Because there's no onus, there's no
Yeah.
requirement for the guests there to get clean. There's so um,
So there's crazy stuff that's going on there.
so
That's
there's no
that's
so
the
there's
the
people who
wild
are
part about
high
it.
who are like basically storing their drugs and like the lockers and whatever, just able to have a place to sleep at night, but then you know um, so it doesn't really help things. When you hear about places with like when you hear about shelters and things like that, and say, oh, why don't these people just go into these shelters? It's because a lot of them have the requirement that you're not allowed to have like drugs or paraphernalia, hell, like I think there's some that like don't even allow cigarettes, and so they rather be on the
Good.
street where they can do whatever they want as opposed to being indoors and in shelter, and not have and lose some of their autonomy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a sad situation
It's
because
wild,
now
man.
it's like, oh, we can't even put people away for their own good. It's like, oh, well, you're trampling on their civil liberties and blah blah. It's like, if someone demonstrates that they are not capable of taking care of themselves, then for a short while, maybe they ought to lose their civil liberties for a short while.
For a short while, just so they might get some sort of
Mm-hmm.
clarity.
Yeah, I mean, there's like again, call it anecdotal if you want, but like I have actually witnessed this where people, have went to jail, and because they're away from that environment, they were able to gain some clarity and for the most part become sober.
Yeah.
And so like I'm not just speaking, I mean, I'm not it might be anecdotal, but it's from firsthand experience. So I mean, yeah, I'm not saying the solution is to throw every homeless person in jail, but I'm saying that it might be a good first step for them.
Yeah, it might be.
But yeah,
Yeah, why don't we get into
yeah. So
our
yeah, let's do that.
topics?
Where would you like to start?
Why don't we give a hand salute to the legend that is Akira Toriyama?
I was doing the Goku. I was doing the Dragon Ball
Yeah, so
instant transmission.
that's right. I was like, yeah, that's nice. So if you guys have not heard, the great artist and creator Akira Toriyama has passed away. Uh, what's kind of crazy is that he's my dad's age. Like by he's a little older than my dad by a couple of months, but he's the
Hmm.
same age as my dad. And obviously people will know for creating Dragon Ball, like pretty much all the Dragon Ball series. He's also the artist for like the Dragon Quest video game series. He's done countless projects. Chrono Trigger is another one that he did the artwork for, and it's just he had he's done a bunch of other stuff too. Like, but I'm just thinking of like the stuff people will know him for, and it's just I don't know if it was something that he was sick or if like he just kind of died of natural causes, but it's still just kind of like, damn, dude, the fact that he has passed on is just sad to see him go, because he was still doing new stuff. So it's not like, and maybe he was. Maybe the thing is he wasn't sick. It was just kind of a sudden thing, and uh, it just happened that he passed on because the people that were working with him, yeah, he was still working on stuff for. I don't know if it was like for like Shonen Jump or whatever game project or manga project or anime project that he was working on, but he was still doing stuff. So it's it's probably something that happened like more sudden. Maybe it was like a heart attack or a brain aneurysm or something. I didn't hear exactly what he died from. I don't know if that
Right.
ever
Well,
got
neither have I,
released,
but
if at all.
I
So,
think it might have been long-term illness because I recently heard that the voice actor for Goku had met with Toriyama
mhm.
just prior to his death, and uh, Toriyama had instructed her to take care of his character. So in a way, like I think, yeah. So
Oh
I
wow.
think, yeah. So I think. I think he knew. I think it was. I think it might have been like probably cancer or something or some sort of or some wasting disease.
Maybe something that he from everybody else. He must have been hiding it.
Yeah, he must have been hiding it. But yeah, at least if I'm remembering correctly, I think I remember hearing that. Yeah, the voice actor for Goku, the Japanese voice actor, um, which I don't know if you guys know, but it was a woman.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like they had met just I think like maybe a month or so before his passing, and yeah, Toriyama had asked her, it's like, oh, take care of Goku for me. So yeah, I think he knew he was gonna die.
Oh, that's kind of sad to hear. I mean, do you have like any? Did you grow up with watching Dragon Ball or like any of
Oh
those
yeah, of course.
projects that Toriyama
Dude,
uh
freaking
worked
Cartoon Network,
on?
Toonami, late night. That that was my jam. I mean, of course, I did catch it here and there when I was in what is it elementary school because certain local certain local channels like through their affiliation through a network uh, would air it like in the morning or like during the weekday morning
Mhm.
or Saturday morning or kind of like like late Saturday mornings. So I was able to catch it's like you knew it was going down when you heard that's like last time on Dragon Ball Z. It's just like yes,
Yeah,
right. And then like it's so
it's a great
crazy because
series.
yeah, and then the American opening credits for Dragon Ball, man, it hits so hard.
It
Like
was
the music and just like
pretty fucking
the
awesome.
editing, like the fast paced editing of all the action scenes. Oh my gosh, it still gives me like goosebumps.
Yeah, I so my interaction with Akira Toriyama was through video games, and so I was a huge fan of Chrono Trigger. I played a shit ton of Dragon Quest games. So his artwork was so prevalent throughout all of those video games, and I'm actually kind of curious with because there supposedly there's a Dragon Quest game that's being currently worked
Mm-hmm.
on, and I'm wondering if the reason why there's been a delay in that is maybe partly because of maybe Toriyama was sick,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why like, it hasn't kind of progressed the way it was supposed to. I mean, it could be a bunch of other challenges as well, but just the fact that I always just loved the artwork of those games. It was just there's something about when you see the artwork in Toriyama, like you know it's him. He has a specific signature to hit that he puts there
Right,
in his
yeah, like
artwork, where it's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
that's
like
a
the
Toriyama.
bulbous
Just if I
foreheads.
was just if I was looking at like a Rembrandt, yeah, so if you're looking at like the Simpsons look, or if you're looking at a Rembrandt or at
Or
um,
Picasso or
um a Picasso, you know the look like that. Oh, that it can't be anybody else's work but this person. And Toriyama definitely had a certain look that he to his artwork. And while his characters were unique looking, you definitely saw like the look that they had. And it's a shame. You want the guys like this to live as long as possible and to continually make great stuff that we can enjoy. Same thing I feel with one of the great music composers for games is Nobuo Uematsu. I hope that guy lives lives forever because let me tell you, he puts all his soundtracks are amazing.
Well, I
He's a
mean, yeah,
great artist.
in a way, they will
Just like
live
and
forever.
Toriyama,
But
his
I get
artwork
what you
is
mean.
amazing. Yeah, it's like you always want them to, you want to see them progress from one to another and see like how their work will progress and not like you're slapping them with a whip. Come on, make something new. But it's just, you're excited for what is new in their mind and what are they going to produce next. And ultimately, I don't know if some of the I'm sure people are able to uh, they're able to copy the style, but there's never going to be another Toriyama. It's
Right, yeah,
always
he was the first. Yeah, he was the one
that's
to
done
originate the
now.
style. Yeah, other people could come in and mimic what he did, but he was no one can ever come, no one can ever come with a drawing and
Right.
that style and be like, oh, hey, look at this cool like way I came up with to draw the people, and it's like, no, you're not. That's Kira Toriyama.
Yeah. So it's like I said, it's just a little sad. It's sad. I'm hoping that the people who know him well, the people in his family, that they're doing okay. And I mean, he's kind of young. He
Yeah, I
wasn't even
mean,
70. So it's
yeah,
just kind
I didn't even
of
know, and I didn't know that your dad
it was just
was.
a moment this
I didn't know
past
your
week.
dad was that young. I thought he was closer to my dad's age.
Yeah, he was born in 55, just like Toriyama was. And my dad's gonna be 69 this year, just like Toriyama. Well, Toriyama was gonna be 69. He died at 68. Um, yeah, it's like God, my dad's gonna be 70 this year. That's crazy. It's like, and I still think
Yeah.
my dad is pretty young. And it's just like that's right. He's getting into you know old age.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, my dad, is older. So yeah, and it's funny because I remember,
Is your
my
dad
dad
70?
is almost
Is your dad or
is
in his
yeah, is
70s?
he's gonna be in his mid 70s. Um, but what
Oh
is it?
wow.
It's so funny because I mean, I never we never think about this, but I remember when my cousin's husband was hanging out one time, and we were just kind of casually talking about death, and he was like so surprised by it. Um, it's like, wow, how do you guys like? He's like very he was genuinely disturbed to the point that when they went home, and like he talked to my cousin about it, it's like, hey, why do you guys talk about death so casually? It's just, I mean, I didn't and like I didn't think that we did. We just just talk. We're just talk. We just talk about it. We're I guess we're not very like emotional people. Um, Not that we don't have emotions, but we're just not that. We're just not jam. We just don't get jammed up about it as much as I guess other people. Um, yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
to just saying that, just to give context to what I'm about to say, it's just like, yeah, me and my dad, or like my dad and like my family, we've had like the talks, like, he's always like, yeah, it's hurt, like if I ever go into a coma or whatever, just pull the plug, because I just, I don't want to be a burden to you kids, so just, let me go. If ever there's a case where like, I'm on my deathbed and I can't breathe on my own, it's like, you have my permission to pull the plug.
All it makes me want to do is like we gotta have my dad back on for an episode.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just so funny. Just thinking about my cousin's husband, and how he was just like so shocked at how casually, yeah, just how
Disturbed by that.
casually we talked about death. It's my dad, like to the point where it's like my dad tells me, he's like, yeah, like if I ever fall into a coma, just pull the plug. And I'm like, you got it.
That's kind it's funny you say that because I think my family's a lot like that too, where are we looking to die? No. But if it ever gets to like a crazy situation like that, it's like, yeah, just pull the plug. Like I don't want to
Right?
be a
Yeah,
burden on
exactly.
people. And if there's a chance to like, yes, I will pull through, then like yeah, give me a shot. But and I not only will I pull through, but I'll have a shot at a normal life afterwards. Give me a shot. But if barring that, like if it just looks really bad, just
Yeah,
don't
just don't
don't let it
revive
happen.
me. Don't revive me.
Don't resuscitate. Just let it happen.
I
It's
mean,
yeah, the and like my grandmother for she passed away a couple of years ago now, but she was always like she would wake up and say, damn, I'm still alive. Like, can I just end already? It's like she was never
right?
like
Yeah, yeah.
suicidal, but she was just like,
She just had gallows
I've lived a
humor
long
about it.
life. Like, yeah, just
Yeah, I mean, my family, we're
yeah, and
always,
so it's
yeah,
like, but I think I
yeah,
understand
yeah,
it.
and like my family, we're always constantly just shitting on each other. I like that same cousin. I shat on her after she had a baby. Like I went to go see her in the hospital,
I
and
know,
yeah,
yeah,
she
that's
was
right. I
plugged
remember you
in. You know,
telling me that.
she had IVs. Like she just pushed the person out of her body. And I went to her bedside. I looked at her. I was like, it's like, what? You couldn't, run a brush through your hair, put on a little lipstick for us. God, you know.
Jesus Christ, what a shame.
I know. It's like, yeah, you couldn't put a little effort into your look.
Hey, Andy, fuck you, bud.
Yeah. But after it was, if I didn't, she'd probably think I was weird. It's like, what, she'd probably look at me like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you being nice to me? Like, she probably thinks she'd
Yeah,
probably be dying if
exactly.
I was being nice to her. Yeah.
Am I dying? Did they say
I know,
something?
right? If I came into a room and be like, oh my god, what you look, oh my gosh, what a thing you went through, and oh my god, you just pull the, you just push the person out of you. Wow, no, that's not our family.
Yeah, not my family either. We give each other a hard ass time. But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to one of the great artists in anime and gaming history, Akira Toriyama. He will be missed, but like you said, Andy, he will live forever. His style will always be out there for us to enjoy. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z will be out there
Yeah,
forever. Dragon Quest and Chrono
yeah.
Trigger, those will be games that everyone's going to enjoy 20 years after we're dead. So
He'll be missed,
it's
but not forgotten.
it'll be there. Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. He will always be remembered, which is great. It was just I was like, fuck, he's my dad's age. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. I still think of like him as being kind of a young guy, and to a degree he is, but I didn't realize he
Mm-hmm.
was that old. And I still think of my dad as a young guy. But at the same time, like, yeah, I guess he is kind of
Mm-hmm.
getting up there. Yeah, yeah, it hit me a little bit differently this week with that particular death. But yeah, shout out to pour one out for the great one,
Have a sensu bean
Mr.
for
Toriyama.
Akira Toriyama.
Toriyama-san. Yeah, but yeah, let's get into some other crazy ass bullshit that's happened this week. Let's do another an update on a story that we've talked about previously that has had some interesting developments that I did not see coming. I assumed that there was going to be pretty much zero repercussion to the events that unfolded on the on the set of Rust, but there are, which is kind of surprising. The we had the movie Rust that was being produced and starring Alec Baldwin, where he essentially no, he was not directing. Well, he killed the director. He killed the director. Shot the cinematographer.
He shot the director and killed the cinematographer.
Was that how it was? Okay, then yeah, but no, he was not directing the film. He was the executive producer. He was the main producer of the movie and the star of it.
That's what it was.
Yeah, but essentially, like, one person died that didn't need to die, and one person got hurt and survived. And there was all sorts of problems on this set, like just a lot of safety issues, a lot of hours being produced, and and there was the whole thing. Like we've come to this story a few times. The bullshit that just has come out. Alec Baldwin came out in the front of this, talked to everyone's favorite, wet blanket or soft blanket for any liberal, George Stephanopoulos on ABC to talk about what happened. He's like, no, of course not. I would not be so irresponsible. Just trying to come out in front of the story. And it was a softball bullshit question that this was produced, as always. So, and you and I both talked about this. It's like, yeah, it's fucking bullshit. We all knew it. And there's definitely more to the story and what has come out is that, yeah, there was a lot of safety violations. There was a lot of things that were happening behind the scenes. Alec Baldwin is being a huge jackass, but that doesn't surprise anybody because he is a jackass. And the person that was, there's actually somebody that already plead out, and they're already serving no time. They didn't go through a trial. They just decided, like, hey, I'm just plead guilty. I'll take whatever I get as far as responsibility goes, because and to be fair, no one did this. No one was like, it's not first degree murder. No one was deliberately out to kill anybody. But negligence should be there should be consequences to the negligence that went into some of the safety violations. You're not doing your job. And the person that was the armorer in this case, and what an armorer is they're the ones in charge. Like, if there's any sort of weapon use in a film, especially when it comes to guns, they're the ones that are like checking, double checking, triple checking, however many checks that need to go through to make sure that they're not, they're able to determine whether they're using live rounds, blanks, half blanks, whatever they need to use for whatever scene. They're the ones kind of making sure that the weapon is safe to be used on set. And the person who was an armorer, she is the daughter of another really famous armorer, in film history. But she's a super liberal leftist. Loves kind of all the piercings and the colored hair and pretty much typical Hollywood, if you will. And what it looks like is that Alec Baldwin, being a dickhead that he is, he kept pushing her. It's like he was being an asshole off camera. It's like, as soon as like a scene was done, it's like, come on, hurry up, we need to do another set. We need another set. Why are we taking so long? Blah blah blah. And this lady is one. She's kind of new to this, but at the same time, she should have told him, "It's like, listen, asshole, I am in charge of safety of this. So slow your roll. We'll get it done. But you got to hold up." She didn't do that, and at the same time, she also was not skilled enough to know what was, she uh she couldn't tell the blanks from the non-blank rounds, which happens a lot apparently. And the fact is, she was moving too fast. She wasn't doing her role, and she was extremely negligent. Probably should not have been hired to begin with for that, or she should have been an assistant to somebody more experienced than her. And she ended up being convicted guilty for her role for I think it was like negligent manslaughter or like something like it's not like first degree murder, but it's you're still gonna get charged. I think she was gonna be charged for I think sentencing hasn't come out, but it's supposed to be gonna be like 18 months, like a year and a half prison time for her. And she's probably gonna like end up not serving the entire time, but there's still some justice there. And I think that some of the evidence that came out in this trial with that lady is going to be pretty damning to Alec Baldwin. Now, whether he gets any sort of jail time or any sort of repercussions, that remains to be seen. I highly doubt it, but it's still, the evidence is going to be pretty damning for him. And to be honest, if he doesn't get some sort of repercussions for what happened there, because he also is kind of responsible for a lot of the stuff that's going to take place that took place during on the filming of the set. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in a couple of months when his when he goes to trial for the events of On Rust.
Indeed.
I'm shocked that anybody's going to jail, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean,
in this, I just assumed they were going to sweep this under the
yeah,
rug.
and if God, he just said Alec Baldwin is such a big shot. He probably could have gotten that chick's dad to be the armor or whatever, unless he was retired, of course. But even still, like he's been in the industry long enough where like he had to have had been able to pull some kind of favor. But no, but given his reputation of being an asshole, it'd probably be hard to find people to work for him.
Yeah, I don't think that many people they might like oh, well, Alec Baldwin, he's big, or he at least was a big name, but he's an asshole, man. Like, and it's because a lot of the what I was hearing from this particular trial and like some of the stuff that came out, it's like, yeah, he's a huge fucking dick. It's like it's not that I didn't know that before, and I like I said, I like him as an actor. I think he's a good actor, and he's been in a lot of good projects. So in that sense, I'm entertained by Alec Baldwin, but do I like him? No, I think he's a horrible person. Him and his fake Spanish wife or whatever. It's just like he's such a dickhead.
Yeah, dude,
And he honestly, like, the way that he was treating the armor was horrible.
Yeah, no, definitely dickhead. God, I wish someone. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make gifs or whatever. But I wish someone would find someone to make a gif of that that scene in Mission Impossible Fallout where they trick Henry Cavill's character, um, and he's like, and he
Yeah,
says, I think this gun is loaded. Want to find out?
but I think this one's loaded. Yeah.
I wish someone would animate that GIF,
Dude,
or
that's
at
so
least turn
fucked
it
up,
into
but
a
I love it.
meme. Come on, it's like right there. Get that screenshot and put the text like, so I think this
It
gun
so
is loaded. Want to find out?
Ah.
Oh, it's too perfect. It's too
Oh my
perfect.
god, that's so great. Yes.
That's how you know God exists, because it's too perfect.
I'm gonna see if that exists, and I'm gonna post that up on
Seriously, yeah, if I
on
post it up on
Twitter.
Twitter, I'm gonna post it up on our social. Oh my God, it has to be. It has to be made. It has to be done.
I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, but I was just like I'm really curious to see what happens during the Baldwin trial here coming up in the summer, because there's some really evidence that popped up in this chick's trial recently, and she's going to prison. So
yeah, I mean, and it's so
man,
stupid because he was like
that's
constantly
wild.
proclaiming his innocence, even though there was photos of him holding the gun. There was eyewitnesses saying that he was holding the gun. He even admitted that he was, and
There's some video evidence of
but then at least initially at the time there was photos, there was eyewitness testimony. He even admitted that he was holding the gun, but he didn't pull the trigger. It's like, so how does the gun go off?
that's
Like,
bullshit.
you could say that it was a freak accident, and the
Yeah,
spring
exactly.
that that pulled the hammer back like broke, but that's like a freak accident, like that you have not been able to substantiate. So like if you were, it's like, it's the thing where it's
Yeah.
like if there was dynamite and a long fuse, and you turn, you tell someone, like, say it's your buddy, say, hey, whatever you do, don't light the fuse. You turn your back around, and then you come back around, and the fuse is lit and the match is burned. Like, what would, your first instinct would be, that guy lit the fuse. So like, and then if that guy were to say like, I didn't light the fuse, even though he was holding the match, and you see that the that the match was like on fire, like it was like the head of it was burnt and the fuse was lit, you could reasonably assume that that guy did it.
Yeah. And dude, this guy is at the head. He is the main source of the problem on this set. Alec Baldwin is liable for like a lot of this stuff. Whether he lit the match or not, he's still responsible.
Right? Yeah,
He's
he's the
the
executive. Yeah,
executive producer.
he's the one that's putting up his money for
It
this,
all
right?
falls on him. And it's not like he's not on fucking set. He's the star of the fucking movie. So even more so, like, you know exactly what's going on set. You're involved in everything. Come on, brother. Come on.
Come on.
And what came out is like some of the video evidence had come out during this trial that we haven't seen beforehand, shows him being a complete fucking asshole during this, leading up to this whole situation where this lady who does not need to die dies because he's being a fucking dickhead, and he's not paying attention. He's not, and he's hired someone who is not skilled enough, who is not trained enough, and you are pushing her past her boundaries. So there's all sorts of evidence of practices going on, all sorts of like treating the crew like shit. not taking the proper time to make sure that we're doing things safely. Now, stunts and stuff like there's always an element of danger when it comes to a film, and there's sort of action or like fire, anything like that. There's always going to be an element of danger. It can't be 100% safe. That's true. I agree with that. But when you essentially rip out the carpet from underneath everybody and you're pushing people to the brink as the star of the movie and the executive producer, and it's like kind of the main flow of money of the movie, you are responsible for this, for all the problems.
Exactly. Like yeah,
It's just, but
he
I'm
had yeah
like I said,
exactly. He had the brunt of responsibility. 'Cause, yeah, like you were saying, he was the star and he was the money man. So like and he as the money
yeah.
man, you make the decisions. You
Will
say
any
like especially if your crew is like dicking around and mixing live rounds with with stunt rounds and what have you, and it's like like if you don't immediately fire those people, then that's on you. That's on you.
so what I have heard is that it's not common when those rounds are coming in. Sometimes they are mixed because some people don't know the difference. Like the people that are shipping them, and that's where the armorer comes in. The armorer should know what a live round and a dummy round are, so what they look like and sound like. When you have somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, there's that there's that problem too. But at the same time, she is still responsible. She wasn't just like an assistant armorer. She was the head armorer, which is a problem in itself. It's like why would you hire somebody that has no fucking experience in that role? Zero. It's not, and she doesn't have. It's not like she has experience as like an assistant in like other movies where she's done this before. This is like one of her first roles in this, and they make her the head armorer. Come on.
Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, just all the things that plague the production is just that it was an accident waiting to happen.
Which is sad because the movie sounds like it
Yeah.
was going to be fucking awesome. I love the premise of the film, but man, this is a curse set. This is just good lord.
Yeah, I think that armorer, she was hired to work on another like Western movie starring Nicolas Cage, but like there were so many fuck ups on that set that he fucking that Nicolas Cage rage quit. Yeah.
Good for him.
So yeah, and so like with that, yeah, so like with that kind of with that kind of
Yeah, it's like
reputation, like
I'm not gonna.
that this girl had, like how, yeah, why the, unless like she was the cheapest, bid. I understand, then I would understand, but it's like knowing like she has like this history of like impropriety and like just like incompetence. Like why would you hire her? And again, that just goes back to take like Alec Baldwin not taking responsibility as the executive producer because he was the fucking money man, so he could have, he had the say, he had the authority to fire her.
I think honestly, I'll be honest. I think that Stephanopoulos interview is going to be damning to him, if
Oh yeah, easily.
because he essentially threw everyone else under the bus and said how he's like, oh, I'm regretful, but like I didn't do anything.
It's like,
Come on.
did you even check the gun?
I hope that those he ends up. I hope he ends up
Yeah,
eating those fucking words in when his trial comes up.
yeah, and I mean, yeah, he didn't take any responsibility. Like he didn't like 2 seconds for him to check the chamber. 2 seconds. even though like it's been explained like how like what the process should have
especially
been like when like handling that gun, like from the armor to like the assistant AD to the assistant AD to the eight to the director, like in each of those like points, like it should have been checked by at each stage of the handoff to the other person, like
yeah,
each, because
yeah,
even if like the person is
yeah,
like standing like 5 like 3 feet from the other person, the handoff, like that person checks the handoff, and then once the handoff happens, that person checks and then hand it off again to the actor, and then that actor should check.
yeah. No, and here's the thing too. Like, if he was just an actor, I think that there's much more like, hey, I was just trusting the people that are hired to do what they do. I think I think that there's much more
Right. Yeah. There's more plausible
plausible deniability
deniability
at
in
that
that.
point. You're the executive producer. You're the one. You're the one that hired
Right.
these
And I
people.
mean,
Like, come on.
but then in this
And
case
you're
of Alec Baldwin, where you can't, I don't think you can extend that grace to him, because how many movies has he done where he has handled a gun? So he's not.
oh, well, I understand that too. Well, I'm just saying.
He's an old hat at this, right? So
I'm just saying
yeah,
that
okay, but
there.
regardless, like he's an old hat at this, and so like he's how many training sessions has he gone with like other armorers? How many times and how many times has he handled the different kind of rounds? So he at the very least might have been able to spot the difference if he had taken the time to check the round to check the chamber.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there is a level of plausible deniability at that point. If he's just an actor in this film, as opposed to also being the executive
Yeah.
producer.
But I'm saying specifically in the instance with Alec Baldwin.
But I agree with you and we agree. I'm just saying that yeah, if he was just an actor, there's a level of plausible deniability. But obviously there at this point there's not. There's just not. One, because of his experience, and two, because he is like one of the leaders of this film. So yeah, I really hope that they just kind of rake him over the coals with this one.
Yeah, indeed.
And at the very least, getting the same amount of time in jail that his armor does, because that seems to be fair. Like I said, I don't think that there was anything malicious behind this, but there was a lot of negligence that happened that led to somebody that didn't need to die.
Indeed.
So but I wanted to bring it up just because when I was like, holy shit, there was actually some sort of repercussion for what took place that day. And I'm gonna be looking in on that trial in June or July, whenever that happens, and you and I are definitely going to talk about when that takes place. After that takes place, some of the events that happen, and we'll see what happens, and that'll probably be the last time we talk about it, because that'll be kind of like really the final nail in the rust coffin.
Indeed.
But why don't we talk about the horrible horrible State of the Union that happened this past week? Good God.
Oh yeah. I mean, but what else were you expecting, honestly?
Well, when our State of the Union for our friend talking about the state of the United States of America, that's what he starts off talking about. He starts off talking about Ukraine in foreign policy. It's like, what the fuck? That's it's already already it's downhill from that point. Why the fuck are we talking about goddamn Ukraine and like what's going on there? And Putin, Skababadoo, Putin bad, but yes, and he just that fucking irritated me to no end. But then it's and you expect this from most presidents that are doing this. The idea of, well, we're gonna blame the last president for what they've done. Usually it's Democrat presidents, blaming any sort of Republican presidents. Like, all my problems are because of the last guy, and whatever successes that the previous president had, they're gonna like say, yeah, those are my those are my wins. Yeah, it's so good. And that's exactly what happened here. Didn't expect anything less than that. But some of the ideas of like the shit running through this guy's head, or or through the teleprompter that were being fed into our president's head, were just so horrifying. And it just gives you an idea of, if you let these people run roughshod over the country, you have no checks and balances. Like, they want to destroy any sort of semblance of what it means to be an American citizen. They don't give a two fucks about your rights. They don't give a crap about anything. They don't care about anyone else but their own power and how they can keep that power. That's the only thing that these people care about. That's what it was. And they're going to protect their foreign friends that are, giving them kickbacks, that are contributing to their campaigns. That's the only thing that these people care about in any form or fashion.
Word.
This is why nothing in this country ever changes, is because you allow these corrupt pieces of shit to run the country, and no one ever thinks to check like where their financing comes from, like where they're getting their money outside. I mean, outside of like the taxpayers, but like they are getting money from all sorts of revenue streams that are not legitimate, and they will do anything to protect those revenue streams. That was on display in the State of the Union. And it just it also showed that Biden can barely, he cannot keep it together for like 2 hours, like an hour and a half, giving a speech. He sounded horrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. Did you watch it?
I actually watched Razor Fists. I watched his.
Oh, you watch his stream?
There's no way I was gonna watch that.
Okay. What did he have to say? I'm curious. What did he have to say about it? Because I didn't watch his.
Basically, yeah, just like just calling out the bullshit. Actually, it was really weird because
I had to listen.
It was kind of good and kind of bad, because he had the State of the Union volume down so low, you really couldn't make out what Biden was saying. But then but he would react to what Biden said, so you kind of get the gist. But yeah, it's kind of what you said, how he blamed Trump for all his all his blunders, but took credit for all of the successes, like booming economy, more jobs than any president in in U.S. history. I thought it was great that Marjorie Taylor Greene
once brought up
was able to troll him in real time. I thought that was great. Getting him to call the the murderer, illegal immigrant. But of course, a couple days later, he backtracked it. It's like, oh no, I didn't mean to be mean and call that murdering piece of shit a illegal immigrant. I mean undocumented. He was undocumented. Yeah,
Oh my god, it's
he
just like you are you fucking shitting me,
mispronounced
dude?
her
Like this.
name. Instead of Laken Riley, he called her Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck, dude. It's like that's one. It's because he can barely remember his own name, but then two, it's because he also doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's the
That's the
dirty
that's
little
the
secret right there.
that's the other
He don't
thing.
give a shit. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I think the Lake and Riley situation. I think is they're probably not going to, but if the Republicans were smart, they would definitely make that an issue.
This is where one thing that I have noticed is that like where 4 years ago, well, the border crisis was being lessened by, but it was still a big issue. Is it's like, oh yeah, he's such a racist bastard. Now it's a winning issue because now even like regular people are like, yeah, this seems like bullshit. People who are not like into politics, and maybe they lean a little left, but like they're
Yeah,
more
they're left of
they're
center.
fairly center left. They're like this. Yeah, this is this is not good. Um, issues that have been like kind of going a little crazy. They're like, yeah, this is bad. The economy is bad. The border situation is bad. There's all sorts of things that are going on in this country that are way worse than they were 4 years ago. They might not like Trump. They might not like conservative politicians, and for the most part, like I don't disagree with them on some things in that manner, but they realize that things are way worse, and that's because of the leadership that is in power right now. It's like, nah, I'm not going to be voting for those people again. Good. And this is going to be one of the wildest voting seasons I've ever seen. This is going to be one of the wildest. I think there's going to be a lot of crazy shit that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be weird.
I'll be honest. I will be shocked. I will be shocked if Biden makes it to if he's to be the nominee. I'll be shocked.
I don't know. I'm still expecting some shenanigans. Not necessarily, in the general, but the lead up. I still think that they might switch out Biden.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and that's why I think like the idea of not solely going after Biden, but going after just targeting certain policies and like having a good plan, and just Biden, just forget about him. He's either going to be there, or he's not going to be there. And if the whole focus is just targeting Biden, and then at the last second they switch him out, oh well, it's not going to be Biden. So who can it's like, well, I don't like this person, but I'm going to vote for whatever other candidate is put in place, which is a very strong possibility. I think that that's why I said like just focus on like what your policy is going to be and like how are you going to fix what problems are there. Don't focus on who's to blame, which to be honest should be the case in most cases. But just to supplement like whatever shenanigans are going to take place, because they are going to take place. Focus on like how are you going to make the country better? What is the plan? And just focus on that at this point. And because now it is going to be Trump as the Republican nominee, especially after Democrat light Nikki Haley finally stepped down. It's not gonna, she's not gonna be the nominee. So it's Trump. It's just that's what it is.
Yeah.
Whether you like him or not, he's gonna be there, and his plan should be to how are you going to make the country better? How are you going to fix it? And I think he's done things when he was president to make the country better. He failed in some other ways, but how are you going to like come back and make it better? How are you going to finish enacting that plan? Fuck Biden. Fuck whoever your opponent is. Focus on like what to make things better, because people are willing to listen to that. And if they pull, who cares if you focus on that and they end up like pulling the rug up under Biden, or he either dies or he ends up being pulled as the candidate because they realize that he's just a empty shell of a person, and they put in a Gavin Newsom or a Michael Obama or whoever in that position, then you're not like you're not cut off at the knees because you focus all your attention on Biden. That's what needs to happen.
Yep.
But yeah, I wanted to I was kind of your thoughts on the State of the Union, and I haven't been as focused on some of the political stuff because everyone else is talking about that, but I was like it was just so jarring to me of how terrible it was that I wanted to bring it up. And yeah, because I've been looking for like news topics outside of the election, because there's going to be stuff that we're going to talk about throughout the rest of the couple months leading up to November. But I was just like, yeah, this is too juicy for us not to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty, not entirely, but I've been mostly checked out of politics. I mean, and like the State of the Union, I knew there's nothing there for me. There's no new information that I was gonna find out. There's nothing that was gonna surprise me. Um, I already know that Biden is not doing a good job. So I just knew that there was nothing for me. So I rather watch someone else make fun of what he was saying as opposed to listen to what he was saying.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, but I do
anything
think
interesting that well, since you watched the Razorfist stream, like what was there anything interesting that he brought up? Because I didn't listen to his, I listened to somebody else's.
Right.
But what did anything that he brought up that was interesting? Because he's kind of he's an interesting guy. To be honest, I like.
Yeah, I mean, I
his
listened to
takes on
him
stuff.
because he's not like a straight conservative. I
No,
yeah, he's more of a libertarian. So it's definitely good to like hear like get like their take. But it's like but he's none too happy at how Biden's performing, and he knows that everything that Biden says during the State of the Union was gonna be bullshit anyway. So
yeah,
yeah. So again, he was just yeah. So again, he was just calling balls and strikes the entire time.
I like it.
Yeah, but in terms of the Democratic nominee, if Biden doesn't, well, probably more than likely not make it. I don't think that they ought to replace Kamala Harris with Gavin Newsom or whatever. Because how dare they try to take away the uh, rightfully earned position of Kamala Harris.
Well,
The
they're going to
first
give it to
the first Black Indian Asian whatever person to be president of the United States.
Well, they want to make it. They want to give it to the second black man to become president, Michael Obama. That's why.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, of course, I'm being facetious, of course, because I also want her to be the nominee because it'd be because no, I doubt that even Democrats would vote for her.
She's horrible. Like she wasn't voted in her own primary.
Yeah, I know.
She was
she had less
She
than
came in
1%.
last
Yeah,
place.
she had less than 1% of the vote in the Democratic primary. Less than 1%.
No one likes her.
Nobody liked her.
Her own party doesn't like her.
Yeah, I mean, not that I don't understand how she got elected to Senate for California.
She fucked her way to the top.
Yeah, but it's just amazing because no one knew who this bitch was. No one knew. Even I was vaguely familiar with her when she ran for Senate, and then after I looked into her and found out all that shit about her, I was like, holy fuck! She literally sucked her way to the top.
And she kept people in prison longer than they needed to be for labor purposes.
If you want to talk about hypocrisies here, Kamala Harris, she was the Attorney General of she was the District Attorney in San Francisco, and then eventually she became the Attorney General for the state of California. She meted out more severe punishments than any other Attorney General. All right, and she withheld evidence back for a case that would have exonerated somebody. And if it wasn't for the intervention of another judge, basically calling her out on that shit, it's like, bitch, you can't do that. She would have put an innocent man away.
So for all especially for all the people that are like, oh well, we shouldn't put innocent people in prison, and we should we need to have better laws and all that stuff, and checks and balances. Well, don't fucking vote for her because she'll lock everyone away for as long as she can to suit her own purposes.
And in that same vein, Biden wants to talk a big game about how black people are disproportionately affected, but in sentencing or whatever. It's like, bitch, you were the one who sponsored the '94 crime bill, which put away more black people than anyone in history.
Yeah.
You with fucking then First Lady Hillary Rodham, calling these guys super predators.
God. Yeah, and those clips are still available. Go ahead and check them out.
All right. And for simple drug possession, which again is hilarious because his son, a known drug abuser or drug addict, he constantly waves away. He's like, oh well, my son is da 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 da. It's like, yeah, exactly, because he's your son.
But remember, Andy, he I don't know if you've heard, but he has chosen until the election, he's sworn off drugs. He's gonna stay clean to help his dad.
Yeah, right.
Good for him. Oh, yeah, right. What a hero.
And I'm a 6'8" black man.
It's like we talked about last week. It's like, but I'm not 6'2". In rush hour.
Yeah. Like, this will never work. I am not 6'2".
Oh my goodness. It's so God, our government is in fucking shambles, dude. It's just I hope there's some sort of
because
help.
During the 2000, was it 2000? When yeah, it was 2000. In the 2000 election, that was when the last big leap, was blown away because
Yeah.
because Americans, we had this inflated sense of ourselves, saying, pointing out to other countries is like, oh, your elections are so corrupt, or your politicians are such, such criminals. Uh, the, that's gone now. That's gone now. With like the fucking shenanigans that happened during the 2000 elections, like we Americans, we can't say shit. We can't call any
Uh,
other country's elections corrupt, or or call shenanigans on any other country's uh, politicians, saying how like, oh, they're just, they're so, paid for and bought off and corrupt and, underhanded. It's like, it's we know we are fig leafless. All right, we're leafless. We
yeah.
no longer have the high ground. We no longer have the mandate of heaven.
And the people who do call it out, they're treated like they're pariahs in society. It's like these elections are not they're bullshit.
Yep,
But yeah, it's gonna like November is gonna be very interesting. I'll just say that.
indeed.
All right, should we dive into some fun and climb up the Great Wall? Talk about this interesting movie.
Let us do that.
It's funny because walls work.
I know, right? Walls work. Case in point, this
This
movie.
movie will
Case
show
in
us.
point, this movie. Let me hit everyone with the synopsis and we'll get going. This is for the movie Great Wall from 2017. When a mercenary warrior is imprisoned within the Great Wall, he discovered the mystery behind one of the world's greatest wonders. What the? He discovers the mystery behind one of the greatest wonders of the world. As wave after wave of marauding beasts besiege the massive structure, his quest for fortune turns into a journey toward heroism as he joins a huge army of elite warriors to confront the unimaginable and seemingly unstoppable force. Again, this movie is from 2017, starring Matt Damon. Then, still relatively unknown, Pedro Pascal, Willem Dafoe, Andy Lau, uh, and so on and so forth. Again, me and Rob have never seen this movie prior. So for both of us, we're coming to this fresh. And as we alluded to earlier in the stream, like the trailer for this movie did not do it any favors whatsoever.
Dog shit. The trailer is dog shit. Honestly, there's nothing in that trailer that makes me want to watch
Mm.
this, and that's why I ended up not watching this movie at all. What exactly made you? Because this was your choice for this month. Why? What made you decide that you're like, you know what, we should watch this? What was your reasoning behind it?
Well, when on the fly we came up with the idea of Fish Out of Water month.
Hmm.
I did vaguely remember this movie, and it was a fish out of water story because it was Westerners going east, seeking their fortunes, and so it just was the right fit. But also, I did know about it, and I was intending to watch this movie eventually because of somewhat controversy surrounding it. In that, because the way the trailer was cut, it made Matt Damon, a Western actor, uh, looked like he was going in to save the day, and you know, and
That is not what happens in this
and
film, by the
play
way.
into the supposed long-standing trope of the white savior. But as you just
Yeah,
stated, that's
and
not
I
what
remember
really
like
that's not
all
what
the,
really happens.
and it's funny because I remember all the. I saw the trailer. Nothing about it interested me at all, and then you hear all the criticisms about like, oh, another white savior film. Yeah, all
All the
the
usual buzz terms.
common
Yeah.
bullshit stuff that happens. And I guarantee none of those people watch this film at all. They're just because uh, it the only thing that they talked about was that they never actually talked about the film itself. But how is it that he is the white savior? What happens exactly? Because what happens in this film is not it's not that at all. To be honest, the way the film plays out is not what I was expecting in any sort of way at all. Because you could argue that, well, yes, we are following Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal. They are not the main characters of
No.
this film.
They're incidentally.
If anything, this is a film that is.
Yeah, they're the okay. Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal. They're the protagonists, but they're not the main characters.
Exactly. We're just following them because they are Westerners they're from Western Europe who have heard about the legend of explosive devices used by like this
They heard about
special black
gunpowder.
powder that they're searching for. Yes. And so they're seeking it out and they know it's in the East. And they end up stumbling across they end up meeting up with Mongolian hordes who are chasing after them, and they come to the Great Wall of China. But the reality is that they are not following them. They're not the main characters. The real main character is not only an Asian, but it's a female. It's a female Asian person who is the main character of this film, and she is the guiding force of the film. So if you're looking for all the representation that everyone wants, it's fucking right in this movie. And like I said, I have some issues with the film, but it's not the issues that everyone's talking about. The film is, and that's what I'm saying. Like no one watched this film that had the criticisms that they did about like, oh, white savior. That's not what happens in this fucking movie at all. In fact, you could say that like one of the bad guys of the film, other than the monsters, is Willem Dafoe's character. He's an asshole. He manipulates the characters that we're following, and he's also manipulating the people, the nameless order as well.
Yeah, the Chinese soldiers.
He's been stuck in this prison for, like, he's been in prison there for 25 years because he came for the gunpowder as well, but he also had no backup. He's been developing a plan to get over these people who are protecting their secret, not because they are protecting something important, so that it would not be used for evil. So yeah, he's kind of the villain. Willem Dafoe's character is really the villain of the film.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you kind of surprised at how the film played out?
I was. Because yeah, it wasn't the.
I thought it was actually. Oh, what I was saying is like, yeah, it's not it's not as exciting at all. Like I knew the monsters involved. There's like dragon, whatever, but it's kind of. I thought it was kind of cool.
I was a little disappointed that they didn't look very like traditionally dragon-like, but in the end, I kind of but in the end, I
That
kind
I
of got
was
over it.
disappointed
I kind
in
of got
that. Yeah.
over it. But yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not Matt Damon, riding in saving the day. It's him. It's actually it's if anything for him, it's a personal redemption story where like he's not necessarily trying to be a hero, but he's trying to find redemption.
He's thrust into a situation where he ends up realizing that maybe I needed to be a
Right.
better
Yeah,
person
because it's
because he's
realized
met
that
people because he's gone.
because it's revealed that both Matt Damon's character and Pedro Pascal characters they're essentially crusaders. So they fought in many battles.
Yeah.
And they kind of say when they're interacting with the Chinese soldiers, it's revealed like it's like yeah I fought in many battles and under many flags. And so at a certain and because of their station, they weren't from nobility. They're commoners who slowly climbed up the ranks, the social ladder, during that time. But there's no way that they'd be able to, there was no way that they'd be accepted as nobility. And so they fought they fought to
Right.
survive, not for a sense of honor or patriotism or some greater cause. Which I think it shined a light. It
Yeah.
shined a light
Exactly.
on them. Like the thing that was missing in their lives, because here are these Chinese soldiers who are fighting for the greater good, the greater good for their country, the greater good of their countrymen, greater good of essentially the world, because they're the stopgap between these monsters and civilization.
And the yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's not they're not only protecting their own country, they're
Mm-hmm.
protecting the world
Right.
because they know that if monsters get past them, there's no
Mm-hmm.
stopping them. Which and I think that the purpose that these soldiers have um, is intriguing to Matt
Mm-hmm.
Damon's character because he's never had a purpose
Mm-hmm.
important that he can buy into, and there's something that draws him into that, and he likes the charisma that the who ends up becoming the main general, which is the female
Mm-hmm.
our female lead in the film. Uh, there's there's something that I don't, and what I like too is that there was no love. It wasn't like a love story
Mm-hmm.
between those two. It was just more. It was about the mission that
Mm-hmm.
attracted him, and
Yeah. Well,
it
yeah.
was her charisma that helped redeem
Yeah.
him.
One of the first
Yeah, there's
times
no like stupid ass like love
one of the first
scene or
times
anything
that
like that.
or one of the first your expectations are subverted in a pleasant in a meaningful way, not like oh look at me like this woman could lift 500 pounds. Expectations subverted. It wasn't like that. Um,
No, not like that at
yeah, it
all.
was just like yeah, it's like here's like yeah, like there was
And
there was an attraction, but not necessarily Matt Damon like was attracted to like this woman because she was a woman, but she was attracted to what she fought for, what she stood for, what she believed.
good for yeah. And he chooses and they're after the gunpowder, and when he's just like, I actually want to stay and help these guys fight, which is obviously like not what his friend wants, or because they initially make plans with Willem Dafoe's character to like, oh, we're gonna wait until there's a battle, we're gonna break out, we're gonna steal the gunpowder, and we're gonna get the fuck out of here. That's our only shot. But Matt Damon's like, no, he's stuck. He can't. And there's a point where Pedro Pascal and Willem Dafoe are like, are you gonna come with us or not? And when he says like, no, like we can't do this, they end up kind of trapping him. They kind of attack him, attack him, and they take off. And so Matt Damon is left with the blame of having the that storeroom with all the gunpowder and the weapons taken. And so, but he's like, no, I tried to stop them, but I couldn't stop them. And he's kind of imprisoned as a traitor. And it's like, why, how could we ever believe you? Like I trusted you to, with this stuff. Like we believed in you. And it turns out that one of the other soldiers that he had been protecting, that he had protected in a battle and encouraged, is like, hey, you're a good warrior. He backed him up. I was like, hey, I saw what happened. He didn't do it. And so Matt Damon ends up getting redeemed. But during that time, the monsters break through the wall, because as time has gone on, they have developed and gotten smarter. They've evolved, and they've tunneled through the wall and broken through. And when that happens, they're trying to find a way to get back to where the monsters are going. And they release Matt Damon's character. It's like, hey, like, you're no longer tied to us. If you need to go, go. And he chooses to fight and goes, and like he goes to protect the female commander. And so yeah, there's that going on. And I like I said, I think it's just and ultimately they end up winning the battle against, they find the strategy to defeat the enemy. But I like I thought it was a great movie. It was fun. I had a good time. Like I said, it has its flaws. Some of the CGI is a little ridiculous. Some of the action's a little like over the top. But overall, the film is kind of good.
Yeah, it was entertaining. I don't know about you, but when we're first introduced to what we eventually be known as the Nameless Order, the first thing I thought of was Power Rangers. Yeah, because the armor, that they wear.
God, yeah, you're right. You're so right.
The different units are all color coordinated. You had like like you had like the Eagle unit. It was like red, and they those were the archers, and then you had like the foot soldiers, like they were like like they're like all in black. You had like the women, like the women unit, they were in blue.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when I saw like their color.
You had the purple guys.
I don't know what the.
What were the purple guys? Were they the swordsmen? Were they the shield guys? They had like the razor shields. I don't know.
Yeah, like because they didn't do a roll call and say like what each unit was. Um, but yeah, just the color coordinated armor. I was just like, oh my god, this is Power Rangers, and I love it. You know. So so
Yes,
I was geeking out over that a
it
bit.
was great.
Um, yeah, this movie was surprising. Um, it was definitely better than what I imagined it to be. And yeah, and like yeah, a lot of things were subverted. Like yeah, like the woman became the general over all the soldiers, and it was fun. And the other men just like accepted it. It's like yeah, like, yes, you're the general now. It's like okay, and so it's like as
Yeah, there was no like, oh, you're a woman. Like, why would you make that? Why would you
right.
make her the general?
Yeah,
Like, there was
I mean,
none of
because
that. Like,
it was
it was like,
established
okay,
ahead of
cool.
time that she was like the commander or the leader of her specific unit. So it's like, okay, so she's on par with these men. So okay, so it wasn't that absurd for like when the general gets wounded in battle with the monsters, and he says like, oh, like you're in charge now. It's like okay, it's like because she's also on par with all the other underlings. So it's like, if she got promoted, it's like, okay,
Yeah,
so it's like, she earned her,
no
yeah,
one questioned it.
no one questioned her, and like she earned her position. So okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so that and the fact that really a love story either, because that would seem like that
Right.
was where it was going. It's like, oh, is he staying because he's with her or whatever? And that's not what happens at
Right. I mean,
all.
yeah. Again, so yeah, Matt Damon's
And I
character
was so
was
thankful
attracted
for
to
that.
her, but not in the usual way. He was attracted to who she was, like what she stood for, how she lived her life.
I think it was more because she's the reason she fought and did things was because
Mm-hmm.
of duty, not because of
Mm-hmm.
something selfish. She was standing for something bigger than herself, which Matt Damon's character has never done. And that was what attracted him. And that's why he was willing to change himself because of what he saw in her. Commander Lynn, I believe
Yeah.
her name was. And she ends up becoming like
Right.
General Lynn or whatever. So,
Yeah, she becomes like the head of like over the entire Nameless Order. Although it's pretty funny because no surprise here
yeah.
that they're triumphant and they're able to kill the queen of the monsters. But it's interesting that she still stayed the commander or like the general over the Nameless Order, but now with the defeat of their enemy, there's no real almost no need for the Nameless Order.
Yeah, exactly. But she ended up becoming, because she changes her, she's given like a new suit of armor. She has
Yeah.
like the gold armor and she is in charge of something else because the same reason, there's no reason for them to be on the wall anymore. So she is in command of something else, which is cool. And it's funny too because the fact that uh Pedro Pascal and Willem Dafoe character, they were focused on like just trying to escape from the wall and getting the gunpowder. Had they just stayed and fought and helped, uh,
Yeah. They would have
they would have
possibly
gotten
they
what they
possibly
wanted
would
and
have
they would
been
have been able
rewarded
to beat.
for their courage and bravery with some of that powder. Because I mean that was the offer given to Matt Damon when after the battle. It's like, hey, you did us a real solid. You could have this powder and go on and become a millionaire or whatever in Europe, or you could have your buddy. And because I think because of his experiences,
And that's the other thing too. Like
because of his experiences,
he chose his
because of his
friend.
experiences, he chose his friend.
And he's like, are you sure? Are you sure? It's like, I'm kind of reconsidering it right this moment. It's like, I heard that. It's like, it's there's like, so there's some jokes around there, but I was like, I kind of like that Matt Damon changed as a person. Yeah, I think uh, uh, I think both Pedro Pascal and Matt Damon changed as characters. Pedro Pascal learned because the person that his mission, like what he thought was important, he ended up being
Right.
betrayed at the end, and he realized like I should have just stayed with who I came with,
Yeah, kind of like that old.
and not like giving up on him and just
Yeah,
kind of like
like
following
that
him
old
where he
axiom,
wanted to
like
go.
dance with the one that brought you.
Yeah, and Matt Damon changed because he had always just fought for his own selfish reasons and never fighting for a cause that was really important.
Yeah, or at least important enough for
And
him.
he changed. And not only did he learn to like fight for a bigger cause, but he learned to fight for his friends. And the people that he had befriended among the wall, he ended up going to like, at his own risk to fight for them. And he also gave up the riches and things that he went to the wall for to save his friend that he came with, to protect him. Which would have never happened it would have never happened initially had he not gone through that transformation. And I think that is I think there's some good messages in the film. I think the characters are pretty cool, and overall it's a pretty fun movie. And when you don't just go into it thinking like, oh, it's a racist movie, it's about the white savior, fuck this movie, it sucks. um those people did not watch the film. There's so much more going on in it, but does it have its flaws? Sure. I think the CGI is a little wonky at times. It's not great. Some of the action's a little over the top and ridiculous.
But I think that's
But
also an
yeah,
influence
it's
of the
not.
Chinese cinema.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, this is a Chinese movie. Outside of Pedro Pascal, Willem Dafoe, and Matt Damon, this is a Chinese film. Everyone involved in this film is Chinese, or like from Hong Kong or Asia in some form or fashion. This is not an American film in any way
I mean,
at
it was
all.
distributed in America, but it was.
It's a very expensive film, but it's not. But what was there anything that you didn't like about it? Like, was there something about like since you watched it, like what did you not like about it?
Um. Not to be honest, there's not too much that I didn't like about this movie. Um, or the least I should say is I didn't outright hate this movie.
No,
there's very
I didn't
little.
hate it. I'm just like,
There's
was
very
there like any?
little to complain about this movie. I mean, yeah, there was the wonky CGI, and and if I am to point some things, like the pacing was a little weird for me. Um, and the fact that the pacing was
Yes, I agree.
I think a little too rushed, and the fact like that they were gonna try and make their escape, like, or at least to what I understood to be so soon after they got to the wall was it felt a little rushed as well. And then yeah, and Willem Dafoe so quickly trying to implement his plans with Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal character, just it just felt off.
Yeah, that now, to be honest, the as far as timing goes in this film, we don't know how much time has
Right.
passed. So, and that's that's a flaw of the film by not like kind of talking about how much time has passed, because it maybe seems like a long time, like a very short time, but we don't. That could have been like several weeks
Right.
if they had been there at that point,
So
and they
so
finally made
it
contact with
suffers
him and they learned about it.
the
But we
same problem as God, what's that movie? What was that movie we did a couple weeks ago that I complained about the pacing or the time frame?
oh fuck, was it last
Yeah.
month? Not what I'm trying to think. Last month we did shoot, what was the film that we did that was like the pacing's all fucked up? Um, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I know what we did.
Why
I
can't
know
you
what we
think of it?
did last month. I'm having to look it up now, but I know what we did.
Uh, Let me take a quick
Shoot.
peek.
Damn. What the fuck did we do?
What the fuck? Yeah, I don't know why.
Because that was our let's see, we did so no, we did Ex Machina, we did I think that was what it was. It was Ex Machina because you're kind of concerned with the timing of that, like how much time had passed. Was it that, or was it we did what was the other Rise of the Machines that we did? We did
Oh, her.
her.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
maybe
her.
it was her. That was, I think, you know what, that now that I'm
That's what
thinking
it
about,
was. Her.
yeah, her. I figured out. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I know
Of
what I'm
course. Of
talking
course. You
about.
never.
Yeah,
Yeah,
her.
there you go. Her. Yeah. So like, I think this movie.
Yeah, the
I think
pacing
the
of that
movie.
film
Yeah. Yeah.
has
Same
the same
problem in this
problems.
movie. Um,
It's like where everything seems to happen way too quickly, but at the same time, but to make that work, it almost seems like there's much more time that passes that we just
right.
don't see.
Because I mean, even with the travel of the imperial representative, like he comes to the Great Wall, and it seems like in a matter of hours he's back in Beijing, even though we're not explicitly told what the position on the wall they're at, whether they're
So
in the center or
we
whether
know
they're
that
on the more eastern side or more western side. We don't know, but like we still know that the
they
capital.
talk about it's 2 days ride. They say it's 2 days ride to the capital
Okay.
from
Okay,
where
two
they're
days.
stationed.
Yeah, but even still, it seemed like I know this is a stupid reason to criticize this movie, but yeah, even that is just like forget it. I'm gonna let it go. Oh my god, I'm so
No. Say what you have to say. Like it's not. I'm just saying
yeah.
like
So
that. That is one of the things that's said, but we just like that's the thing. Like the timing seems very off because it almost seems like within a. I I don't need to see the 2 days ride, but like give me something like where we see some sort of passage of time, or we understand maybe like like with these guys being our two Westerners being stuck there. Are they like scratching like tacks in the wall to like show how
right,
much
yeah,
time has
doing
passed?
a yeah. Give us
Something.
a
Give me
prison calendar or
something.
something. But we don't even get that. Um, Wait, are we doing? Now I have to go back and look at something real fast. Give me 1 second. Okay, we aren't doing it. Okay, but I think
But yeah,
yeah,
I
I
agree
think
with
a
you.
movie that actually take has that in mind that did it that I think that at least included it, um, and I appreciate is in the Last Samurai, where where Tom Cruise is being held captive at uh, what's his face Ken
What?
Watanabe's character's
Yeah.
stronghold. Like they at least show the passage of time through like they have it like show like winter time to let us know that like time is passing. And so we believe that
Right.
he spent like 3 months with at least 3 months with Ken Watanabe's character Katsumoto. That's the character's name.
Yeah.
So at least yes. So that
Yeah. Yeah.
that one little
It's a
detail
much better like.
made me believe that like time had actually passed, like that Tom Cruise's character actually spent a significant amount of time at Katsumoto's base.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes a lot
goes a
of
long
sense.
way.
Because we don't know if these guys. Because we know Willem Dafoe's character has been there
At
like
least it's
25
stated.
years. We don't know how long Damon and Pedro Pascal have been there. It could have been a couple of weeks. It could have been a year. It could have been 2 years. It could have been like 10 years. We just have no fucking clue.
Right. And I mean, and yeah, the other thing is like that Willem Dafoe's character didn't develop like Stockholm syndrome, where he kind of begrudgingly come to respect his captors in a sense. And that's why and that could have explained why he was allowed to roam around freely, is because he had a an affinity for the people, the soldiers of the nameless order. But just as soon as like as soon as Matt
Well,
Damon and Paige,
he
uh,
taught our main actress
right,
English.
it's a little
He taught the main.
unbelievable that as soon as Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal's characters come on scene, he's ready to just like just betray, just stab everyone in the back. Because
Maybe because he thought that like he would never be able to escape, because he knew he couldn't do it on his own, and so he was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm just stuck
I
here.
know, but
But when these guys all of a sudden showed up, it's like, I have a shot now. He was just kind of like waiting and
I
praying
know,
for a shot, and that was his shot.
but to try and convince some like to make it seem as though like he was holding like out on this hope for that long that someone from the West was gonna come and that he could then use them to make his escape. I think is a bit unbelievable for me. Because at a
Yeah,
certain
I agree. I'm not. I'm just trying to like throw a little bit of shoot the film some bail here.
but me,
But
I'm like
yeah, I agree.
yeah,
That's a weak part of the
because
film.
like 25 years is a long time, especially to be be trapped amongst some people. And like and I
Yeah.
can't and I have to believe that he would have at least like attempted a few escapes on his own, right? And right, and
I'm
then
sure he
but
did.
then
I'm sure he
the
did.
idea that the idea like the all hope of escape like leaving him is slightly unbelievable, because especially since like I don't know like how many like Westerners they ever come upon, and there had to have been a reason for them to keep Willem Dafoe's character alive all this time, and outside of like, oh, he could teach us English. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah. So I guess yeah. So I guess yeah. I do, there are some things I didn't like, but it's just small, just some
there's
small, yeah,
definitely
just some small
problems with the film.
criticisms that I can offer up.
Well, how would you want to rate this film, Andy? This is your choice, so I'm gonna let
All right.
you rate it first. What do you think about the
Uh,
Great Wall?
I think I'm gonna give it a solid 3. Solid 3.
Solid 3. Okay, I'm actually gonna give it a 3.5. Um, I I ended up liking this way more than I expected to. There's some flaws to it. It's a film I'll probably come back to at some point because I actually ended up liking the action. I kind of like the characters. Despite all the flaws it has, it's really not a bad film. It did not. It's funny. It was a semi-high budget film. I think it was like $150 million budget. It made 340 million, but despite that, it lost 70 million. So I don't know what the budget was for like the marketing and all that stuff.
Well, I mean,
So it's well, it made a
rule
lot
of
of
thumb
money.
is usually the budget of the film times 2.
Then they way spent over that because for marketing. Because yeah, like if it made double the budget, then yeah, they definitely lost money.
Yeah, because again, I think it's common knowledge now, but yeah, like, when they release the budget, they're not including the advertising, which is probably the budget, and then like maybe like the budget and then like half the budget. So,
And it's funny because I don't remember there being like a lot, at least in this country. I don't remember there being a lot of
no, yeah,
marketing for this film. I remember like the
I don't
one
recall a lot
trailer.
of fanfare for this movie.
No. So I wonder if like a lot of their marketing was overseas and
Yeah,
like
oh yeah.
especially China. And God knows how much they spent over there, but it's I think it's something that's worth people checking out. Fuck, don't listen to like the people who never watched the movie and they're just like, oh, it's about a white savior, of course. Ugh. Fuck those people. Just watch the movie. Um, we've shared some of the weak points to the film, but I think there's a lot of highlights to the film as well. I think the action's great. I think the characters are for the most part pretty cool, and it's a monster movie. Cool. So you're fighting monsters. That's what it is, and you have some redeeming character qualities. People who are transforming as characters, and people who are revealing themselves to be who they really are. Cool. I like stuff like that. So yeah, The Great Wall is pretty fun.
Agreed. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm not gonna be like, oh man, you got to watch Great Wall. It's gonna be like, yeah, it was fun. Check it out if you want. So yeah.
Yeah, some people are gonna like it, some people are gonna hate it. We overall enjoyed it.
Indeed. All right, folks. That was our review for next week.
Well, next week.
What is next week? What is it? Dances with Wolves.
Next week we're gonna do a Oscar winner. We're gonna do Dances with Wolves.
Starring Kevin Costner. She was a president in Battlestar Galactica.
What the hell is her name? I know who you're talking about.
She was also she was also the mom in Donnie Darko.
Are we talking about the? Yes. Oh, I like her as an actress. I forget her name right now, but she's great. So I'm looking forward to that.
But there you have it. That's our review for the Great Wall. Robert gives it a 3.5. I give it a 3. Solid movie. You should definitely check it out. Still a very enjoyable movie. I don't know if I give it the full-throated recommendation, but yeah, it's a fun movie.
It's a
It's a
popcorn
fun
movie.
movie.
Like just go in. Yeah,
All right, folks.
nothing to write home about, but you're gonna. I think if you can turn your brain off, you'll enjoy it.
All right, folks. That concludes with the conclusion of our movie review. That brings us to the close of our live stream. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. I know Rob always has a good time.
Tuesday's my favorite day of the week.
And I hope it's all of your favorite days of the week as well. If you enjoyed the stream, don't forget to check out the library of other content that we have. The Circle of Jerk's main podcast, old episodes, nocturnal transmissions, of course, and Rob's gaming show, Up by Up Down. Don't forget to follow us on our various social media accounts. Uh, the platform formerly known as Twitter, X, and Letterboxd at PodcastCOJ, and Instagram at Circle of Jerks Podcast. And with all that said, thank you for joining us tonight. Come back next week, and we'll do it all over again. Have a good night.